it is me, Sailor Moon, and it is me, Sailor Uranus here. And today we're gonna talk about, this one thing that, you know, always think we should talk about. Alright. So, there's always going to be folks who, you know, who's alright. So today we're going to talk about, when it comes to folks in Sailor Moon and which ones that they always say that they like. There are many offshoots. So, like some folks will say, they like the funny books, and others will say that they like the, the live drawing. Now, and where did the no? And they're like, and when you get down into that one, it's like, all right, so today it's like, today we talk about why did Pgsm only have one following? If you don't know what Pgsm is, it was Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon or Beautiful Keeper Sailor Moon, which it was the live Farseer show offshoot of the book, of the drawing film, of the live drawing show that ran from 2003 YL to 2004 YL, and it only had one following. And I'm sure some folks out there would wonder why it only had one, or why it was never picked up by anyone. Well, first off, it only had one following, and there put a lot of grounds to why there was only one following. But what if it had 5 followings to it? But we don't know. So we just say we don't truly don't know why it only had one following. And it would have been cool to see how the 2 forward following and the 3rd following and the 4th following and the 5th following would have played out like. Now I know a lot of folks very few folks ever saw it because it was only done over in Dawnland. Yes, and it was put into other speeches or written into other speeches, but never freed out. Never was. Yes, and somehow, some way, a lot of folks got the disc. Don't ask me how. Put it on their webstead, but they weren't following ownership law when they were doing it. There was never a true disc out. There was never a true free out outside of Dawnland. So your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, Sailor Moon. I mean, Pgsm was the closest live work or following of your show of Sailor Moon. Now, did it? At the end of the day, was it close to the book? In some ways, it was. In some ways, there was some freedoms taken. But we're not talking about that. I mean, why it only had one following? It only ended with one following. And since Sailor Moon is now 30 years days, the 30-year day has now happened, you would think that need be Pgsm would get its 2 forward following. It might be many years since the first following happened, but if they choose to do that for Sailor Moon's 30-year day, that would be good. But we all know that we don't know if that's going to happen or not. And another thing about Pgsm that it never gets brought up is why when Viz got the right to work with all the Sailor Moon, the live drawing shows, why that deal never came up. Yeah, like why was it never put into English? You would think if it would be, be freed out and put in English, you would think that it would have been, you think it would have been, I don't know, Viz again that would have done it. But I know some folks out there might think it's weird to hear the words of the show players coming out of the living selves, or live selves, I guess we'll call it. I don't know. But it but PGSM only had one following. It never had any true English work. Yes, there were a lot of follower work out there that's, if you know where to seek it, it's around. But there was never no true English work. It was never freed out. It was never shown anywhere else, so the rest of the world never saw it. And one little guess is that why we never had two-fold following. I guess it didn't do very well, or I guess that's where they felt they were going to end it at. And I know there's going to be someone saying, well, Nako Takaguchi just wanted it to be one following when she was writing and drawing the books, and that was the goal. But then Toei felt that they could make more followings out of it. But then, if that was true, why did PGSM only follow that over? Was the only one to only have one following? I mean, it would have been cool to see how the two-fold following would have played out, or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth. But sadly, PGSM never did go beyond that. Yes, there were about 3 outstanding followings, and there was the song show, but beyond that, that was it. There wasn't really any more follow-ups to PGSM. You know? Yeah, you're right, Sailor Moon. Do you think PGSM should be picked up for a two-fold following? If you think it should be freed out for the rest of the world to see, put in their on-look speech. Now let us know what you think about that. And also, if you like what you're seeing, then follow us over here at Sailor Moon for Life, or watch the last film you made yesterday over here. I'm Sailor Moon, and I'm Sarah Uranus, and we'll see you later. Bye. And it's always me, the last one, and this film, all the time.